Hello all and welcome to Horologique. Today we will review the first Invicta on the channel. Wait, don't go away yet. It's the Invicta 1953. Yes, I know, Invicta is not among the best loved watches from watch lovers. However, this model seems to be the exception, and I needed to see what all the fuss was about. As you might know if you're looking for this model, the all-black model that came out last year is almost impossible to find. But on the European Invicta store, I was able to find this new model for this year, which has a bicolor bezel insert. The watch arrived yesterday and I haven't had a chance to open it yet. What if we do that together right now? Alright, and as this is an unboxing, I wanted to show you the box itself for a precise reason. Take a look at these. And they go all the way. Take a look at that. Welcome to the Invicta family. The packaging is here, and as you can see, you've got the watch box. We'll take a look at that later. It comes protected with these little things. You've got a little shopping Invicta thingy. And you get some documentation and even a little tag to return it in case you would want to. Okay, let's see what's in the box. So you've got the Invicta inner box, which is just plain plastic, pretty badly done, and it tries to imitate the Rolex box, which is a bad thing in itself, because the Rolex box is a calamity. Alright, and here is the watch. Nice, and here you've got all the documents and a little cloth, and here there a little logo, which is a little gaudish, and here all the documentation, the warranty card, and you've got 2 years of warranty with this card, which you can update to 3 years if you go online. And the watch is here. It comes pretty well packaged, and it does say that it's an automatic watch. I'll tell you what, we will peel all the stickers and we'll get back with you as soon as that is done. And let's now talk dimensions. This watch is 40 millimeters in diameter by 14 millimeters in height by 48.5 millimeters in lug to lug by 20 millimeters in lug width. The bracelet tapers from 20 to 18 and back to 20 at the signed clasp, signed with the Invicta logo there and name. And this watch weighs 133 grams, sized for my 16.5 centimeters, 6.5 inch wrist. But that weight belies a feeling of top heaviness from this watch, and I believe that that is due to the thickness of the timepiece and to the construction of the bracelet, but we'll talk about that later. The dial of the watch screams vintage Rolex, as it should, because all the dial is matte, which is wonderful. The indices are just printed, but they are surrounded by a very nice golden ring, just like in the vintage Rolexes from this era. And you've got a beautiful golden minute track going around. The rehaut is brushed and undecorated. Now let's talk about the hands of this watch, and where everybody would be expecting Mercedes hands. Here Invicta have been true to history. The very first Rolex, which came out exactly 1953-54, that is still debated, had this kind of pencil hands. The hands are gold in tone, which is wonderful because it goes with the gold surrounds of the indices and with the golden text, and accentuates the vintage style of this beautiful watch. the text, and I am glad, and I think everybody's glad that they went for the nice Invicta lettering and not with their ugly logo. I think that is what made this watch a winner. And that is at 12. At 6 you only have a two-line 1953, the model of the watch, and new to this reference from this year, you've got the automatic text, which is in red. I believe that dual color bezels are better reserved for GMT watches, but well, there we go, why not? Maybe later I can source a different bezel insert. Okay, I have just charged these watches all the way. The Seiko SKX is here for the comparison. So let's kill the lights and see what happens. Yeah, already from the initial burst, you can see that of course the Seiko SKX has much better lume. The little Invicta is not too bad. It is much less bright. Let's see how it endures. We'll leave these for about 5 minutes and then we'll return. Alright, after almost 10 minutes, we can see that the Invicta is almost invisible. To the naked eye, it is still shining shyly, but the hands are almost invisible. That pencil shape is not good for holding lume. And as you can see, the Seiko is just shining all the way there, no problem at all, very legibly. And for those who follow the channel, as I say, the rotation of the bezel tells half the story about the quality of a watch. So let's go, let's try these. And first impression, I wouldn't say it's hard to turn, but it is very firm and you can hear those clicks. They are pretty secure. I did not expect that from this watch. You need more force than you would have believed at first. Well, that is pretty reassuring. It's not a refined bezel, but at least it's a secured one and it lines up. The finishing of this watch is quite nice, with the circular brushing of the top of the lugs and especially that beautiful bevel that goes all the way across the side of the watch and which divides the top of the lugs from the flank of the watch. The flank of the watch, which is also brushed, and that is horizontally brushed. Very, very nice. The quality of brushing is quite good without being exceptional. It's not the most refined, but it's not too bad either for a €140 watch. Let's talk about the bracelet. A weak point of this watch, well, at least the links are solid, but the end links are not, they are hollow, and it is held together by pins and not by screws, but at this price level and from Invicta, what else did you expect? Let's talk about the clasp as well. The clasp is signed Invicta with their ugly logo. One of the gripes I have with this watch is the way to open it. Ow. God, it is really very hard and you end up nipping your nails in there. And it's a double security, so that is pretty good, but you can say it's pretty secure. And as you can see, it is pressed, all of the elements are pressed. Yeah, it feels really cheaply made. So I believe that if there is a weak point of this watch, it's gotta be this bracelet and especially this clasp. And from a weak point to a strong point, the movement here is the ubiquitous Seiko NH35, which is wonderful for this price range. And as you can see, Invicta have signed these with their custom yellow rotor, Invicta Watch Company, and stating that it is an NH35A. So very good there. In fact, let's see how this one performs. Well, as you can see, the accuracy is pretty good, almost very good, I would say, but this watch is pretty new and these NH35 movements are known for varying after a few days. So I'll have to check it out under a longer period of time. But these numbers make me pretty happy. So is this Invicta 1953 a good watch for the price of 140 euros? And that is kind of a tough one, because Invicta has the brand recognition to some degree, even though that brand has been eroded lately, but it's going against some very tough competition at that price range. Competition from China, from brands like Saint Martin, like Chronos, and to some degree like Steel Dive, which are actually better made than this watch with better materials and the same movement. So on that respect, spec for spec, you have better options for your money, for the same money. But this company don't have the brand name that Invicta can have, and they haven't yet done a watch like this 1953. So Invicta has the originality factor in that. Well, originality, this is still a homage to a watch. So once again, it is all up to you. Spec for spec, there are better options for the price, but if you like that design, you might just as well go for it. It is not about a watch. Don't expect miracles at this price point from Invicta. Thank you so much for having watched the video, and I'll be seeing you very soon on the next one. Goodbye.